going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the new Netflix film Bird Box. Stars Sandra Bullock, John Malkovich, Sarah Paulson, and a few others throughout the film that come in and out. And yeah, let's just talk a little bit about it. So right out of the gate, I heard a lot of hype about this movie. Now, me saying that doesn't mean that I went in like hyped about the movie. I'm not the kind of person to watch a movie and kind of let the hype that I saw online kind of drive my opinion of the film when I'm watching it. I very much just kind of like go in thinking, well, wow, people thought this was really cool. Maybe it's really good, and I'm excited to see it. And I really do my best to eliminate hype from the product itself, you know? So right out of the gate, I can say the movie starts very interestingly, and it sets up a very, very interesting concept that kind of had you glued to the screen. The pacing is a little off throughout the entire film, which is something I noticed right out of the gate, but I was really, really, really into the concept, the characters, and what was going on. There was a lot of, there was a great sense of urgency at the beginning of the film that gave me exactly what I wanted to see out of it. When I saw the trailers, it seemed really interesting. A lot of people were saying good things, so I thought right out of the gate, this is gonna be a lot of, really cool fun. It was a very interesting concept, and I was excited to see where the movie was gonna take it. And as the movie went on, I just found myself bored. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie by any leap of the imagination. I feel like people are very much overhyping this film. I think it has a very creepy concept, and there are some really, really good moments with this concept, no doubt. I mean, for sure, it's clear that this movie played off of the success of A Quiet Place and how cool of a concept that was. But that movie is really great, and I'm gonna do a review for that one as well, because I definitely want to do a review where I talk about that movie. But Bird Box just seemed like it was the kind of movie that was trying to play off of that same kind of idea. Obviously, it doesn't, if you've seen the trailers, it doesn't have anything to do with sound or hearing or speaking or anything like that. It has more to do with sight, but I won't get into any spoilers, as I usually don't with my reviews. Just gonna give you guys my general thoughts, and then at the end I'll give you my recommendation on the film. Yeah, I just think that my general idea or feelings on the movie is that it starts off really strong. It has a very, very solid concept throughout the entire film. The concept is pretty sweet, but the movie really doesn't give you much. After the first act, maybe like a little bit into the second act, it just really starts to feel like it drags. It feels like there's a big lull about like in the halfway point of the film. So right out of the gate, I think the first act is really cool. It sets up a lot of interesting concepts. Like I said, the performances are pretty awesome, especially Sandra Bullock's character. She was solid across the entire film. I say if you're a Sandra Bullock fan, this is a movie of hers that you'll probably enjoy just because of her performance. My girlfriend kept saying it as the movie was going on. She's like, I just really love Sandra Bullock. And I agree, she's a really, really great actress, and this movie definitely shows her range as an actress. But as the second act kind of comes in, there's a huge lull. At least there was for me. It just started to feel boring. There's some character moments they try to set up and some sweet little integral moments between the characters, and it just felt like they weren't deserved. It didn't feel like there was much payoff throughout the film for anything, and when things would happen in between characters, you were thinking, oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. Unfortunate for a lot of the situations was kind of my thought process. There was a lot of really dumb decisions made by characters. A lot of characters are 110% wasted. There are some very interesting characters, but it feels like they were only there to maybe give us information or to remove something from the story. For instance, there are literally two characters in the film that are there for the first act, and around the time the second act is coming into play, or during the second act, they literally leave the film. Like, you never find out anything about them anymore, and they were really just there to remove a very important piece for the other characters, something that would have helped them along in the future, something that, if anything, was the most helpful tool that they had. And they really just had these other two characters there for the first act just to come in later on and remove that piece, so that it makes things a little bit more difficult for the characters. But there really is no play on it anymore. They don't really discuss it later on. It just kind of happens to happen. There really isn't much to say about this movie. So yeah, my phone just fell again. speaking of which, if the video and the audio sounds a little muddled because, you know, there's the sounds of the car, my phone is sitting on my dashboard, and I definitely am going to be going probably this week to go buy a car mount like holder for my phone. I've been meaning to do that for a minute now. I haven't done it, and yeah, I'm getting tired of my phone falling anytime I want to do a review. I'm probably going to keep that in there just for funny sakes, but yeah, anyway, getting back to the review. So as I was saying, there's just characters that come in and out and feel underutilized. There really is no reason for them to be there other than for them to make some funny little moments in this tense situation, or for them to give us information. There's literally a really interesting character that comes in at the beginning, and he has kind of a lot of information. People kind of think he's a little wacky, but he kind of spews out all this information of what this whole situation could be, and he's offed so quick into the film, and it's not like there's really, again, it feels inconsequential. It feels like it really has nothing to do with the overall story. It just feels like these characters come and go, and then eventually you're just kind of left with Sandra Bullock's character throughout the film as the main focus, and you have other characters that, you know, I won't give you all, I'm not going to give you full-on spoilers as far as who survives and who doesn't throughout the film, but it just feels like they just wanted to focus mainly on her, and all the other characters really had zero meaning. It felt like they really didn't need to be there, and it sucks because there's a lot of these characters are very well cast. There's a really solid cast. There's a lot of characters that were popping up every here and there. I go, wow, look, this guy. Oh, look, it's that guy. Hey, it's that guy. But then it was just kind of like, why are you here? Why are you here for the story to just kind of like, all right, we don't need you anymore. Ta-ta, Turtle Man.
Ta-ta, Turtle Man.
It just felt like they really didn't need to be there, and it just felt like that's kind of, for me, ruined it. I didn't feel any sort of connection to any character other than Sandra Bullock's character, but even then, the story around her wasn't strong enough for me to really care. Now, with that said, I think that the film's positives right out of the gate is it has a very interesting concept. The setup in the first act is really strong. There's a little bit of pacing issues, but, you know, it wasn't something that was ruining the film for me. But as the movie went on, again, that kind of got worse. But I also really enjoyed the cinematography. There was a lot of really interesting shots, and I really enjoyed just some of the eeriness that the movie set up. There was definitely a sense of discomfort for big chunks of the movie, in a good way, in the sense that the movie was trying to give you this thriller-based, you know, discomfort that it does pretty well. But the movie's narrative and the characters that it surrounds is just bland. I don't get the hype. I think that the concept is what people are hyped out about a little bit more. I think that's what's kind of the cool part of the movie. Outside of that, I can genuinely say that I feel that it was just an okay movie. It's not a bad movie, it's not a great movie, but I watched it last night and it just didn't stick with me. I think that there's some strong elements in there. I think if you're looking for something while you're scrolling on Netflix, I'd say, yeah, you go ahead and pop that on. But, you know, my girlfriend and I said last night when it was over, like, if I never see that movie ever again, all right, like, I really couldn't have cared less about a lot of the things that happened in the movie. And that kind of sucks because, like I said, there were solid performances. There were definitely some really interesting ideas and concepts, and they just don't play on any of it. It's a movie that leaves you hanging and doesn't. It's not one of those movies that leaves you with questions where you can kind of debate with people and be like, oh, what do you think happened? It's like, it seems pretty clear cut what happened. They just don't give you answers, so there's nothing to talk about. There's a lot of interesting things that they set up, but they don't explain or give you answers to any of them. So you're just kind of like, it's not even like it doesn't even end in a way where you're like, oh man, what do you think happened? It's just kind of like, oh, that's what happened, and, you know, I still have a lot of questions, but I guess I'll never have them answered. So I really don't have much else to say about this movie. I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't really much even a fan of it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was a bad movie. There was definitely some strong moments, but there's nothing great about it. There's nothing that I could even go and say like, oh, if you're on Netflix, go watch it. Like, I hear that in the US right now, what's it called? Infinity War is on Netflix. I would much rather just say, hey, have you seen Infinity War? You have? Go ahead and watch it again. Or watch anything else. Go watch The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell or something. I don't know. There's 100 times better things to watch on Netflix, and I just feel like this really was just okay. I just feel like the overall narrative and the overall product was just okay. I was on the edge of my seat. I was gonna say the tip of my toes, but I was on the edge of my seat for the first act, and you know, for a little bit into the, like, there's some moments in the second act that I was on, you know, and maybe some small moments in the third act, but overall it just kind of ends, and my girlfriend and I looked at each other and we're like, that's it? Like, that's the end of the movie? Like, it just leaves you unsatisfied. I felt unsatisfied 110%. I felt like there was too many questions that were left unanswered, and I'm all about movies that may present questions and leave some things to kind of to the imagination of, like, oh, okay, you can kind of talk about it with whoever else watched it. What do you think? You know, let's debate it, kind of thing. There's plenty of movies that do that really, really well, and this just was not one of those movies to me. It just set up a lot of really interesting concepts, and it felt like they didn't know where to take that, and they just said, all right, bye, and that's it. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be the end of my review. As far as my recommendation, I'd say if you really want to watch it and you're very interested in it, because the trailer is pretty interesting, I'd say go ahead and give it a peep. You know what I mean? Like, give it a watch. It's nothing crazy though. It's not a terrible movie, but it does have some lulls in it. If you're in if you're anything like me, you may just find it boring for chunks of the movie. It's just okay. Like, it's not anything crazy. I don't really have much great to say about it. I don't really have much terrible to say about it, other than that it just doesn't deliver on a lot of levels. But it's got solid performances. It's got some great cinematography and a really cool concept. So if you're into just checking it out, then I'd say go ahead. If just watching a movie that just is okay, you know, just sounds amazing to you, then go ahead. You know, if you feel like you're easily impressed, then go ahead. But you know, it's just an okay movie. There's really nothing there for me. There wasn't anything to like hold on to even think about the next day. I wanted to make this review before I even forget about it. You know what I mean? I've watched so many movies on Netflix that, you know, sometimes I think, man, I remember the general idea and I remember some of the actors that were in it, but I can't even tell you what the movie's called. You know what I mean? And this is just one of those movies that I feel is gonna fade into that level of obscurity for me. So yeah, that's Bird Box, guys. Check it out, and if you did see it, let me know what you thought down below. Did you love it? You know, if you were a big fan of it, and let me know down in the comments, what did you think? Like, what was so awesome about it outside of the concept? Did you feel like you got the payoff and the resolution that you wanted from these characters and these situations? I know I didn't, and I just felt like it just kind of fell flat for me eventually. And so I'm very curious to hear from other people what it is that made this movie so awesome for them. If the concept is only it for a lot of people, then I guess I get it. But even then, it's like, I don't know, a concept can sound cool on paper, you know, and you can, if anything, you can almost take this concept and sit around and create a more fun and entertaining story with your own friends, and maybe even come up with some own answers for yourselves, you know what I mean, rather than this movie that just sets up a lot of interesting concepts and it really doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Bird Box, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, like I said, subscribe for more videos. I have more coming soon. I just watched another movie right before I'm reviewing this, and I'm going to be reviewing that probably later today or the next day, I don't know, but very soon. And yeah, guys, make sure you come back, watch more videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!